Hello. Great to see you all. Coming out of the State of the Union, we are the strongest position we've been in months. We have a record to be proud of, an agenda that addresses the biggest concerns here in American people's lives, the message that resonates. And now what we have to do is we have to sell it with confidence, clarity, conviction, and repetition. On Ukraine, Putin was counting on a divided NATO, a divided West, and quite frankly, a divided America. But he got none of that. In fact, he's now facing a more united, energized, resolute NATO in the West than he ever imagined. And he's failed to divide Democrats and Republicans, but we need to be honest with the American people. The battle for freedom has its cost here at home as well. People are already feeling Putin's price hikes at the pump. I think the American people know how important this fight is. I think they know that as painful as the price is today, the costs are going to be higher if we do not act now to deal with this tyrant. So let me be clear on the facts. We are increasing oil production with a record productivity. By the end of the year, we will have produced more oil than any time in the last number of years. In this time of war, it's not a time of profit. It's time for reinvesting in America. And they hear it. This crisis is another indication of why we need to get off dependency on fossil fuels. This is not a solution to today's crisis. It's about the future. That's why we need to build a better America. Let's talk about our record. The American Rescue Plan. People were hurting. We had to act, and we did. We did it as Democrats without a single solitary Republican vote. And the one-year anniversary of the passage of that act is tomorrow. We should be proud of it. We did so much, people don't even know we did it. Without exaggeration, few pieces of legislation in our history have done more to lift a country out of crisis. When I took office, only 2 million Americans had been fully vaccinated. Today, we vaccinated a nation more than 250 million people fully vaccinated. We gave families what my father called a little bit of breathing room, and it worked. 20 million people were out of work just months before I took office. Job growth was anemic, 60,000 jobs a month leading up to January 2021. But because we took action, we created 6.5 million jobs just last year, more jobs than ever created in 1 year in the United States of America. We decided we were going to build America from the bottom up and the middle out. Because when the middle does well, everybody does well. Everybody does well. Let's be clear. When America's recovery was flat on its back and the economy was flat on its back, it was the Democrats, without a single Republican vote, that brought us back. Let's talk about infrastructure. We passed the biggest investment in physical infrastructure in the history of the United States of America. Now, in this case, we got some Republican help. We got 12 Republicans in the House and a couple handfuls in the Senate. But I notice every new bridge or highway, you have a Republican who voted against the infrastructure standing there taking credit. As my mother would say, God love them. God love them. We need to be clear with folks about why this is happening. This bill is going to create millions of jobs. That's not hyperbole, that's literal. Rebuilding America's roads, bridges, highways, ports, airports. We're going to invest $65 billion to deliver affordable high-speed internet everywhere in America, urban, suburban, and rural, and tribal communities. You know, we can't be a country where a mother has to take her child to the McDonald's parking lot to get access to the internet to be able to do their homework. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. This law is going to put an end to that and so much more. And we're going to bring back something we thought, many people thought we had lost. The ability to to manufacture products stamped Made in America. Just a few years ago, the companies building in America, factories in America, would have built them overseas. Now, we're building them here in America. That's not only great for manufacturing, it's great for cost. 1/3 of all the inflation in America last year was a consequence of automobiles not having access to computer chips to be able to build their automobiles. We're going to make them again in America. At a time when food and gas prices are rising, if you can lower other major costs for families, you can help their standard of living. Let's give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prescription drugs. It costs $10 for a pharmaceutical company to make insulin for those suffering from type 1 diabetes. They pay an average of $647 a month, as high as $1,000 a month. So, we're going to cap the cost of insulin at $35, period. And by the way, they'll still make a healthy profit. We can lower the cost of energy with tax credits, an average of $500 a year, by giving tax credits to families to weatherize their homes so they use less energy. Folks, this is not rocket science. They're going to be able to be done without raising the taxes one single penny on anyone making less than $400,000 a year. Not a penny. Because they're going to raise taxes on the wealthiest among us and corporations. And those earning less than that, as I said, are going to find themselves in good shape. But I'm a capitalist. I'm not looking to punish anybody. But it's time the corporations and the very wealthy just begin to pay just their fair share. That's why I propose a 15% minimum tax rate for corporations. We're going to get it done. I started to push for a minimum tax, a global minimum tax rate on companies that can't get out of paying their taxes at home by going to jurisdictions that require very low taxes for profit made by corporations in their country. And they're just shipping these jobs overseas. Well, guess what? We agreed, 170-some countries agreed that we should all pay they should all pay a minimum tax of 15%. And guess what? That's going to bring in billions of dollars in taxation here at home again. Secondly, I want to point out, for those folks who attack us for being fiscally irresponsible, let them know this. Last year, I cut the budget $360 billion while we did these other things. $360 billion. And no, I'm the only president who's on track to cut the deficit by more than $1 trillion in 1 year. $1 trillion. Our agenda includes a bipartisan unity agenda as well for around 4 big items. 1, opioid addiction, taking the lives of literally thousands of Americans. We're doing very little about it, especially our children, and fentanyl being laced with them. Second thing we can all agree on is dealing with mental health, especially for our kids. There's a serious, serious problem in America today. And the third thing on a unity agenda we can all do with veterans, especially those who are exposed to toxic burn pits and not getting the needs they met. And fourthly, the only truly bipartisan thing I know that I've been involved in of late is ending cancer as we know it. We can do this. We have the possibility of doing this. But folks, these are all within our reach. And if we do that, we're going to keep the House and keep the Senate and add seats. And by the way, if we don't do that, it's going to be a sad, sad 2 years. Think about Republicans if they'd controlled the Congress these last 2 years. Ask your Republican friends, I mean it sincerely, name me something the National Republican Party is for. Not a joke. What are they for? We'll strengthen our position with governorships and up and down the ticket. And more importantly, We're going to change this country. We're going to improve the lives of millions of Americans. We'll meet the great challenge of our time: voting rights, climate crisis, gun violence, criminal justice, immigration, and so much more. It's literally within our power to do this. I've said it before. I was in China with Xi Jinping, and he turned to me with we had an interpreter, and he said, "Can you define America for me?" And it's God's true story. And I said, "Yes, I can, in one word: possibilities." We can do anything when we decide to do it together. When we do it at the United States of America, there's nothing beyond our capacity. So let's get it done. Let's remind people what we've done and keep it going. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.